Welcome to Soul Sister Stories, where we dive into profound journeys of spiritual awakening with inspiring women. I'm Rika Markel, your host on this journey. My passion is to empower you to tune into your soul's whispers by presenting you the stories of soul sisters who have dared to dream and live extraordinary lives while helping others doing the same. We're here together for another episode of Soul Sister Stories. And today I have with me Karen Vizer. And Karen lives in Arizona, but she's not born there, but we'll hear her story. So Karen, thank you so much for being here with us. And we are so excited to hear your story today. And so, as I said before, because we had a little chit chat before we started it, when you are a little bit older in life, you have such an amazing story because things are happening and happening and happening, specifically when you are on a spiritual journey. So, Karen, please tell us, who are you and what is your spiritual path?
Oh, Rika, thank you so much for having me here. And thank you so much for what you're doing. I just love that you're getting women together and sharing wisdom, because there really is a distinction between knowledge and wisdom. And I think that's a huge piece for many people. So I'm a coach. I'm also a mentor. When I say that, I coaching and mentoring are the things that I do to connect with people and take them deeper into who they are. I am a woman who's passionate about restoring femininity, restoring the divine feminine, restoring what's been lost. And I think so many women have lost a sense of who they are. They've lost the idea that they matter. They've lost the idea that what they want matters. They have been programmed and conditioned over life to settle for less, to put others first, to put themselves last. And there comes a time when that doesn't work anymore, and we're longing for something else. And what more can there be? Who am I? What am I here for? And so the focus of my work over the years has been this idea of identity, of who are you? And more importantly, let's reconnect you to who you are, so that you can be the best version of you that you are, so that you can step into beingness and leave what I affectionately call doo-doo land, because we're programmed and conditioned to do. And where we get our value from doing, which is an external reference that has nothing to do with who you are. It has everything to do with what you think, perhaps, that you need to do to be accepted, to be loved, but it's not where the juice is. It's not where the magic is. The magic is in being. And so I think my work, my passion has been finding what we've added that has nothing to do with who we are, and locating those energies, locating that frequency, locating those beliefs, those stories, those narratives, and shifting them, neutralizing them, so that they're no longer impacting the choices that we're making, so that we're no longer being driven by needs, being driven by identity, being driven by society's labels, being driven by the should and the expectations that we think others have of us, and learning really to be sovereign, to unidentify with all of those things, all those constructs that have nothing to do with the end of the day. They don't matter. What matters is who you are and who you're being. And the very fact that you exist is evidence of your value. So you are enough, you do matter. And there is someone on this planet that will benefit from the fact that you own your mattering, that you own your significance, and that you step into that. And I think we've been programmed and conditioned to wait till conditions are right. And it's sort of like, if I do this, I'll have that and I'll be this. And it's wrong. You get to decide who you want to be in this world and how you want to show up. And then you can grow into that. And my expertise is sharing with with my clients, with the people that work with me, how to do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me because I can go on forever about
Yeah,
that.
I know. And I let you talk because I think you brought so much already that we can talk about in the introduction, because you see, I think most people don't even know that they are programmed, which is one of the biggest ahas that somebody can have when they realize, oh my God, this is not who I am. This is something, like, for me, it was very much in my face when I saw I write about that, how I saw myself in the reflection of the window, and I thought I saw my mother. And so that's when I realized how programmed I was, like how conditioned I was, how my whole ancestors, all my ancestors were part of me, and whatever I was doing was just the unfolding of all the stuff from them. Like, to let that go and to really go in deep and dig, who am I? Who is who is this person, without the conditioning? It's like, it's such a journey. And honestly, I think that a lot of people could use some help with that you don't have to do this alone. And I think that's the beauty of your work, that when somebody is like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to deal with that? This is not who I am. And now what? And so I think that somebody like you can really be very helpful. I wish I had coaches like that, it would have been faster and less painful, I think.
Yeah.
So who are the people that you work with? Who are the people that are looking for you?
That's a really great question. I have several different types of people that look for me. One are women over 50 who are saying, what now? They've lost their homes, perhaps, or they've lost their partner, or they've lost their health, or they've lost their job, or they've lost their workplace, or they're empty nesters. And it's like, what now? And occasionally I get a man. I'm not, so if a man is inspired to work with me, please do reach out. But it's mostly women. I would say it's 90 out of 100 people, 98 of them are women. The programming and conditioning, it runs deep, and also if there's trauma. And so a lot of times what I find with people is that their belief systems are holding them back from who they can be, from the dreams they had when they were younger, if they knew how to dream. And the first group are those women that they've sacrificed themselves for their family or their jobs or their careers, and they're kind of like, what is this all there is? What now? And there's so much wisdom in that group, especially the group over 60. There's so much wisdom, and it's a distinction between knowledge and wisdom. I work with clients, and every once in a while I'll get a client that says, I know that. Knowing it and embodying it are two different things. Wisdom comes from living it. It comes from being it and not needing to know, not having your ego mind run you here and run you there and chase this and chase that. So that group of women who want to own their significance, want to know that they matter, want to believe a different story about themselves than what they've been telling themselves, and want to forgive themselves for the past.
I want to interrupt you here for a quick second, because usually when you attract those people, it means that because you embody it. So and if I'm too personal, you can just tell me. But when these people identify with you, you probably also, like what you say is, these people, they went through something traumatic, or can even small or big. What is your, like, was there a moment in your 50s that you said, oh my God, what did you change something? Did something happen? How do you connect with that? Because I know probably, and I don't know it because we didn't discuss it, but I can feel like there must be, like, and I know for myself, like there's a life experience, and then that experience turns into the knowledge. So can you share with us, like, what was it that made you shift at that time?
Well, there have been multiple things because we're on a journey, and I would there have been multiple things. I think the biggest shift for me was back in 2011. I went through bankruptcy and foreclosure, and so I had a firsthand experience. I had a rental property, I had some land, and lost it all. And I use the word lost it all because at the time it was a loss. When I look at it now, it was a huge gift of freedom. But I could not see it at that time because I was just so in this tunnel, in this construct that I had created with, and the whole, what comes in is the lizard brain, the reptilian brain, and survival. When you're under that kind of stress, financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, it puts you into survival mode. And recognizing that that was what happened to me was that any kind of loss will trigger some kind of survival instinct, because the first 3.5 years of our life are driven by the reptilian brain, also known as the amygdala, the lizard brain. That's what marketers market to. That's where fear of missing out lives. It's innate to all of us. And even though I knew, here's the knowledge thing, I knew, but I couldn't embody the wisdom at that time until I went through that experience. I've had some deep loss. My husband passed in 2002, in December of 2002. And so that was, again, loss, but of a different kind. So I think that for me, that was a huge turning point, because the shift I had to make was out of the survival mode into the just let it go, let it all go. Trust God has you, or spirit, or consciousness, or source, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not attached to what you call it, but trust that you are. When I was 9, Rika, I had an experience. I was living in Massachusetts, and I was out on the lawn, grass lawn there. And I was looking at the blades of grass, and I had this awareness that we're all cells in the body of God, that we're all part of something bigger than us. And I went inside, I was thrilled with this. I went in and told my parents, and they were like, "Oh, that's nice, dear." And, I mean, I totally could relate to that. And never forget it, but I always had this thing. So that thing came back after all of the trauma, after all the drama, after all the stress, after all the survival. And I had to get back to trusting God, that we're all cells in the body of God, that we're here for a reason, we have a purpose, that the very fact that I exist is evidence of my value. And so how am I going forward going to share my value and share my wisdom with people that can benefit from it? And has been a journey. I was coaching then, but the coaching that I do now is vastly different, because I rely on energy, I sense energy, I'm clairaudient, and so I know things, and I can create a very great level of safety and trust with the clients that I work with. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No. And the reason why I wanted you to elaborate a little bit on that is because out of my own experience, I know that the people that are listening to us, that a lot of them, they say, well, but I did so many things. I had so many stupid things done in my life, and I made so many mistakes. And the shame that comes with those mistakes is sometimes holding people back and put them in and keeps them in that fight or flight, because I am so stupid that I'm doing those things, and I cannot believe that I had that bankruptcy, or I did this, I made that mistake, or how could I lose everything? Or people or women that are divorced a couple of times. I'm talking about myself now. It's like, how did that happen? That was not what I wanted. And those things can keep us stuck, like the thinking that we are worthless because of those things. And that's why I wanted you to say, like, what happened to you? Because for us to share our mistakes shows other women those are not mistakes. Those are things that are happening to you to wake you up. Those are afterwards, you're going to see the blessings that those things were bringing you. And so I want to encourage everybody that is thinking now, oh my God, I made so many mistakes. There's no way that there is like that there is a way out for me. No, when you got through all those things and you're still watching us, it means that you're on the right track and that there is so much beauty just a little bit further. And that's where, again, a good coach or a teacher or a mentor or whatever comes in to show you what you don't see yet. You know, because when you're in the apple, you don't see if you're red or
Right.
green, you know what I mean? So that's why I want you to share that, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
So that were the people, the 50-year-olds. I'm sorry. Go ahead, go ahead. I saw
Well,
it. I don't.
it's life is a journey, and I think you hit on something huge. There is a tremendous amount of shame often associated with loss, like, a divorce or finding out that a spouse is cheating, or loss of your health, like I should have seen that coming, or being blindsided, losing your job. There's a tremendous amount of shame because our culture has programmed us. We've been programmed and conditioned to morph and to, put on the mother hat, the sister hat, the worker hat, the girlfriend hat, the friend hat, whatever. And the problem is there's only one of you. You don't need all those identities. There's one of you. And that one of you is enough. That one of you has greatness in her or him. That one of you is all that's needed. But we have this story that of who we have to be or how we have to get along in this situation or that situation or what we need to do. And it's all, can I say a four-letter word? It's all bull. I will
You're allowed to say that.
It's
You're allowed to say
it's
that. It
just
is. I
it's
agree.
just bullshit, really. You are enough. You are unique expression of source energy of God on this planet. You have a gift that can only come through you. And what you're seeking is seeking you. So there are all these natural laws that are working in your favor, that are conspiring in your favor. And the only person that can judge you and shame you is you. So
Yeah.
it's time to stop that. And it's the old programs that pull us back into the past and into that story, and then we keep recreating it until we decide not to do that anymore. And that's what the magic is that I'm able to facilitate with my clients, is that letting go of all of those stories, all those narratives, all those constructs that are not who you are, so that you can be that divine expression that you are, so that you can be a living example of possibility. And,
Yeah.
when I was going through all that stuff, I was really in bad shape, but I was my own worst enemy too.
We all are.
Because
We all
I
are. We all
a
are.
big
Until
ego,
we
and
know.
I
Yeah.
thought I could fix it, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I thought I could fix, oh, I just need to work harder. And that's,
Yeah.
we end up exhausting ourselves. And we live in this amazing field of all possibility. We are creators. And so it's like when I work with my clients, I just go, imagine a funnel. And the top of the funnel is where everything is available to you. All the things maybe you hadn't even dreamed that manifest or create is available there. But over time, what happens is our programming and conditioning and all of the stuff that's going on around us, the insults and injury, the trauma, the drama, it creates a downward spiral. So if you think about that funnel, we're down in the lower 20%, feeling like we live in a pressure cooker going, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? And in my construct, when we find and identify the old programs and we neutralize them, you move up on that spiral up, and there is more and more available, more and more possible, more space in your body, more possibility available to you, more bandwidth, because you're no longer being dragged down by these old things that have nothing to do with who you are.
No, I think that one of the big things that I see for myself and for others is the idea that we don't learn in school how to live life. And so there's no, whatever they are teaching us is usually to keep us small, not to make us expand. And so I think that a lot of people just don't know those rules. There's the rules of like the rules of the mind, the laws of the universe, and that's my thing. Like that's what I do. I teach people those laws and those rules, because once you know the rules of the game, you can play the game and you can become better and better at it. If you don't know what you're doing, like there's no way that you can win. And of course, I know it's not a matter of winning, but there's a lot to know. And so you don't know what you don't know. And again, that's also one of the reasons why listening to interviews like this or other podcasts is so important, because then you can see the possibilities. You can see what more is possible. And I assure you, from where I'm sitting, if you allow the universe, God, spirit, no matter how you want to call it, to do the job for you, you're going to be amazed. You cannot come up with the stories yourself. You have to let go of your own bullshit stories, because there's no way that you can come up with the stories that the universe has in store for you. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're creators. See, you asked me about my clients. So it's two very diverse groups, but the other group are young women, late 20s to probably mid 40s, who are in their careers, who are in male-dominated organizations and are in leadership roles in those organizations, or they're I have one client who is in a nonprofit and it's supporting women internationally. And so whenever she hits an edge about their fundraising and their bigness and they're growing, she'll reach out and we take the edge off, and then I don't see her or hear from her for 3 or 4 months or a year or two, and then she's back because they're growing again. So
the expansion can come with somebody outside of you. It's so nice to hear that, because this is so important to hear. You can help somebody to expand. You cannot usually expanding on your own is so much harder than having somebody hold your hands and then do the expansion.
Yeah, it's just finding what the stories are and the beliefs, because we get into when they got to 10 million, they're real comfortable at 10 million, but now they want to go to 100 million. So who do they have to be? How do they have to show up? How does their beingness have to change in that organization to support that vision and to be able to reach even more women?
Again, you're touching on something that is so dear to my heart. The idea that you have to be first before you can experience it. Like you have to hold the vessel of what it is that you want to accomplish. If you don't, it's just gonna, you have to be the container in order to hold it. If you're not a container, it's gonna flow over, or it's just gonna disappear. You're not gonna be able to hold on to it. So the becoming, and of course you already are, because I don't like the word becoming, because you don't become, you just are.
You just own it.
You make the decision.
It's yours. It's your birthright.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to have, sometimes you need the permission to be that way.
Yeah.
It's like just a permission. Like you don't have to become, because you are it all. But that's very difficult for some people to hear.
Sometimes you need the word become to build a bridge of what's possible, especially if someone has never dreamed or had a vision.
Yeah.
So, but it's sort of a temporary fix. Neville Goddard, who's somebody that I listened to some of his trainings, and he talks about a bridge of incidents.
Yes.
So the word becoming, well, and it's like anything else, Rika, it's not a destination, right?
No.
It's a journey. So we're always expanding and growing, or we're declining, we're contracting and declining. And my vote is for expansion and growth, because I've already done the contraction and declining when I went through that experience. And let me tell you, it's not a happy place to live.
I know that you and I have something in common that I call the beingness, just being. And so I would love, I think people that know me, they know what that means to me, because I talk about it all the time. But what does that mean to you, Karen? What is to be? What is being?
Being, to me, is authenticity and love, kindness, authenticity. That's what being is. And so when I get up in the morning, I think about what are the qualities that I want to experience today? What are the qualities that I want to be more of? And sometimes it's connection, and sometimes I pretty much have a lot of joy and peace already, but maybe I want more joy. Play is something that I want more of in my life, that I'm choosing to be playful, more playful than I've ever been.
Love that. Yeah.
And so for me, I am being loving kindness. I am being authentic. I'm not becoming loving kindness or authentic, because I'm already that. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it's beautiful. I'm just letting you talk because I just love hearing you, because, to be, you have to be comfortable in your own being. So most people cannot be because they just don't even know who they are. And that makes that's a disconnect. And it doesn't mean that they think they don't know who they are, because of the programming and because of how
Right.
they are, how they, the mind is telling them they should be a certain way. And because they are not that certain way, they think they can be. But
Right.
everything is perfect in this moment. And so there is a lot to say for that, but it's also not, it's very simple. Say, just be, it's very simple. But I also know it's not that easy. So,
Right.
there's a huge difference. So I also know from experience that people that are listening to other people that know how to be, that sometimes one sentence of that person can open up a whole gateway, can open up their perception, and can open up their being. And they say all of a sudden, like when you talk about it and then you hear something like, oh my God, it's that simple. Like when you were talking about the grass, and every little grass, it's like you don't have to press the button to the grass to say grow. It
Right.
just effortlessly unfolds. And the same that the grass is unfolding, we are unfolding. I think that Wayne Dyer says it perfectly. Like we have the baby and there's a conception and the baby is growing, and 9 months, the universe, God, whatever, is taking care of it. And nobody asks, nobody presses a button, and the eyes are formed and the whole body is formed. And all of a sudden the baby is born. And we say, we don't need you anymore. From here, we take it. And then humans are taking over. But it is so interesting if you just think about it, how it was going naturally. So why do we think that we know better, and that
Right.
we have to like do a whole convoluted thinking and process to just be? It is just unfolding. So it's beautiful.
The thing that we need to be, or what get to be, is committed
Yeah,
ourselves.
to yourself. Yeah, committed to be. It's only one decision you have to make. One decision, and that's the end of it.
When you make that decision, things then start organizing for you. And it's like we are so programmed to be doing, I call it living in doo-doo land, to something we need to be doing because that's where we get our value. But the truth is, there's a Pareto principle that says, it's a business principle, that 80% of the outcome comes from 20% of the effort. So if you know that, what are you doing with the rest of it? You know?
Well,
What?
and they also say we're human beings. We're not human doings.
Right.
So that's also one of those things.
But the construct is your value comes from doing. And then I can't tell you how many women I've worked with who are lost at first when we dismantle the programming, the doing program. There's something I need to be doing it. Nobody else can do it. I'm the only one that can, all that stuff.
We
The
know the
habit
whole
of
story.
doing what we're doing and the habit of sacrificing themselves for others. Then they're kind of like, who am I now? Because without doing, I have no identity.
Yes.
Because they're identified as the doer. And the truth is, you are being love, you are being kindness, you're being the best version of you that you can be. Are being a living example of what's possible. It's not rocket science. This doesn't have to be hard.
No, it's true. It doesn't have to be hard at all. All right, I can see that we're already talking for like half an hour, which is amazing. And I can go on and on, but where can people find you, Karen? How can they work with you? I will put all the links in below this video, but still, I would love for you to explain how you work with people, what they can expect.
Okay.
Give us a little bit of information.
Yeah, there are some different options for working with me. I do session work, which is either a 3 or 5 session package, and that is I call it the clean slate, and it depends on the person, where they are in their own development and their own owning of their value. And most clients are good with 3, but some, if they've had a lot of trauma, would need 5 or more. And it's not, every session is about 90 minutes in length, and it's very intentional. So it is never what I think you need, but I use muscle testing to navigate, and it's intentional. So I will say to the client, what do you want? What are we creating today? What do you want? And then we go in and through various processes that I have, and I've sourced a process that I call consciousness shifting, which actually can find and erase the energy patterns from the past, providing a clean slate to create something new on. That's one way. I rarely work single session. If I do, it's pretty expensive. I have a program that I just so excited about, because I am I want to do things differently. I don't need anything to take up more time than it needs to take up. I am value, and I provide value. And so I have what I call the identity makeover, and it's a 100-day cohort, and there is no Zoom with it. It's just simply an email lesson goes out on Sunday. And the first cohort is finishing mid-April on this, and they're loving it because an email goes out and it's transformational. It's from my book, The Identity Makeover. It's 1 to 4 pages of work with an assignment. And then the assignment gets turned in at the end of the week. And then Sunday, another lesson goes out, and there's 15 chapters. In 100 days, there's 14 and a half weeks. So we had to have 15 chapters. And I just wrote this book one day and created this program. And it's so elegant and so effective and so efficient for people for their time, because they read the lesson, they do the assignment, they turn it in, and then it comes with 7 one-on-one sessions with me. Every 2 to 3 weeks, we book the client in for a session, and we look at what came up with the first 2 lessons, with the third, fourth lesson. And so it's very specific. So one person may get gold out of lesson 1, where another person might be lesson 6. Lesson 6 is self-hatred programs, because those are alive and well in most of humanity, unfortunately. Lesson 7 is self-love. And so they're just different components of the programming and conditioning constructs we've taken on that we're dismantling over the 100 days. And it makes my heart so happy to see the benefits that people are getting.
That's great.
And then I'm going to do at the end of March, and I don't know if this will be live by then, so you can edit it out if it's not. But I do it from time to time. On Sundays, I go live on Zoom, usually 2 Sundays a month with a breakthrough with me. And it's just 20 or 30-minute gift training with some Q&A, and it's not recorded. I'm not sending it out to anyone. If you want it, be there.
Be there or you miss out.
Yeah.
I love that.
I just, because I want the people who are really going to benefit.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've got all these Zooms that I'm supposed to go. No, I don't want to
I
do
get
that.
it. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
And then I'm going to run a 3-day experience at the end of the month, and it's called You Matter: Why Everything You Do and Everything You Say Makes a Difference. And
Amazing.
it's going to be a free training. It's going to be like a half hour, 3 days. And I think it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be March 25th, 26th, and 27th. And it's free. It's going to be on Zoom. And that will be up on Facebook. On Facebook, very easy to find, Karen Vizer, Vizer, one-to-one connection call. Now, this is not a sales call. This is a call, what's going on with you, some ideas of some things that you might, tools or processes that you can use that would benefit you. And if I have a sense that you could benefit from working one-on-one with me or working in one of my programs, the Clean Slate or the Identity Makeover, or I'm launching also Visionary Leadership later this year, then I will share with you how you can do that. But this is not, I don't use setters. It's not a sales call. Not everyone is a fit for working with me. And so it's an opportunity for you to get some benefit, to get some ideas of some tools and resources that might help you, to get to know me. And they're never more than 30 minutes long. And it's a great way to connect and meet someone new in your life.
Wonderful. This is a very nice introduction to your work. So I will put all the links and the websites and whatever Facebook groups and Facebook pages and everything that you mentioned, I will put it below the video. So then rest me for today just to thank you for being here and being a part of Soul Sister Stories, and it is your story that makes all the difference for a lot of us. So thank you so much for your time, Karen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rika. I honor you. Thank you for following your vision.
Well, sometimes, and it might sound weird, but sometimes you just don't have a choice because it's
weird at all.
You keep bumping into it, and it's just easier to say, okay, let's do this, than to just try to fight it all the time. So this was another Soul Sisters story, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And if you were inspired by our conversation, please like our video, and send it to all the people that you think that could benefit. Subscribe to my channel, because that is going to help me to spread the word to more women, more people all over the planet. And it is my dream for all of you to become dream creators. And have a wonderful day, you all. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining us. If our journey today resonated with you, please consider subscribing and liking this video to support our growing community. For more insights and resources, be sure to check the links in the description below. They're filled with valuable information and support to guide you on your spiritual path. Remember, your soul's journey is unique and magnificent. Stay connected, keep exploring, and let's continue this journey together in our next episode. Until then, keep listening to the whispers of your soul and embrace the life of your dreams.